My name is Damian Hartfield, final year student of Riverside High School. People call me smart. Others say I'm popular. But most people would rather use one word to describe me: fearless. Teachers avoided arguing with me, juniors scattered when I walked by, and the school workers, well, they were the easiest targets. Especially one of them, Mr. Lorenzo Abeo, the quiet janitor. He was an old man, always in that faded uniform with patched sleeves and worn-out shoes. He hardly spoke. He'd sweep the halls, mop the floors, pick up after everyone, and somehow still find a way to keep his head down like the world was too heavy for him to lift. And I made his life harder. If I finished drinking juice, I'd drop the cup right in front of him. Oops, I'd say, clumsy me. He'd bend slowly, pick it up, and keep working. If his clothes looked torn, I'd make sure people heard. Nice outfit, sir. Vintage collection? Students laughed. Teachers frowned. And Mr. Abeo? He just kept silent. Sometimes he'd mop a hallway till it shined like glass. Then I'd walk through it on purpose, leaving dirty shoe prints everywhere. You missed a spot, I'd say. Actually, you missed all of them. People always say high school teaches discipline. Mine taught fear, and I was the reminder. A few teachers tried to warn me. Damian, enough. Respect people. But I didn't listen. Why would I? My parents were powerful, and the school never punished me. To me, Mr. Abeo was just another face, another nobody. Yet every time I pushed him too far, he'd whisper the same strange line. Life has a funny way of turning around. I never cared what he meant. But now I know those words were a warning. And my life was already turning. To know what happens next, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, A Bite of Tasty Stories. The day everything flipped upside down started like any other. Me walking into class, everyone pretending not to stare, teachers pretending not to panic when I spoke. But by lunchtime, my world was already shaking. There was chaos in the principal's office, teachers rushing in and out, students whispering, the school counselor pacing like someone just reported a murder. Then my name echoed across the speakers. Damian Hartfield, report to the principal's office immediately. My heart didn't skip a beat. I was used to being called. Usually nothing happened. But this time, the air felt heavier. When I walked into the office, 3 teachers, 2 prefects, and the principal were waiting. On the table lay something that froze my blood. The final exam question papers. Damian, the principal said sternly, these were found in your locker. Everyone stared at me like I'd been caught burning down the school. I didn't steal them, I said. And it was true, I had never even seen those papers before. But nobody believed me. Students had seen me near the staff room. Someone claimed I bragged about knowing the answers. Someone else swore they saw me sneak into the office the previous evening. But all of it. The principal's voice was cold. You will be suspended, and you will not take your final exams until further notice. That sentence felt like a punch to the chest. Friends? They stepped away, pretending they didn't know me. Teachers who once smiled at my parents' money suddenly acted like I was a criminal. When my mother arrived, she was furious, more embarrassed than worried. Damian, haven't you humiliated us enough? She didn't even ask if I was innocent. For the first time, I felt something new, fear. Just when everything felt hopeless, the door opened quietly. Everyone turned. There, holding his dusty cap in his hands, stood Mr. Lorenzo Abeo, the janitor I bullied almost every day. No one called him. No one expected him. He cleared his throat softly. Principal, sir? Damian didn't steal those papers. The room fell silent. The principal frowned. And how would you know? Mr. Abeo stepped forward, voice low but steady. Yesterday, I cleaned the staff room until late. Damian wasn't there. He's telling the truth. No one else defended me. Not a teacher. Not a classmate. Not even my mother. Only him. The man I insulted, the man I mocked. The man I treated like trash. But why would a janitor care what happened to me? I stared at him, confused and shaken. That was the first time I wondered if there was something about him I didn't understand. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, A bite of tasty stories. I couldn't sleep that night. A janitor had defended me, the same person who made his life miserable. But what did he gain by helping someone who treated him like dirt? I needed answers. The next day, instead of going to class, I waited behind the sports field where the maintenance building stood, a small, forgotten structure nobody cared about. Workers stored tools there, and I knew Mr. Lorenzo Abeo lived somewhere behind it. When I saw him pushing his cleaning cart toward the back door, I kept my distance and followed quietly. He slipped inside a small wooden room attached to the building. And for the first time, I noticed how tiny it really was, no bigger than a storage closet. A single flickering bulb. A rusty bed frame. A broken fan. He lived there? After he left for his rounds, I stood outside staring at the door. Part of me said to walk away, but my curiosity won. The door wasn't locked. I pushed it open slowly. Inside, there were no decorations, no possessions, except a small metal box under his pillow. I knew I shouldn't, but I pulled it out and opened it. My heart almost stopped. Inside were photographs of me. Not recent ones. Old ones. Baby pictures. My first birthday. Me in kindergarten. Me in primary school uniform. Pictures no one else should have had. And under them, a tiny blue toy car. My toy car. The one I lost when I was 4. The one I cried about for days. My hands started shaking. Why did he have these? Why would a janitor keep pictures of me from childhood? Before I could breathe, the door creaked. I turned. Mr. Abeo stood there, staring at me, shock, fear, and sadness in his eyes. I froze like a criminal caught stealing. He didn't yell. He didn't get angry. He only whispered, "Damien, you weren't supposed to see those." I swallowed hard. "Why?" I asked, voice trembling. "Why do you have pictures of me?" He looked down, tears filling his eyes. And with a voice I had never heard from him before, soft, broken, heavy, he said, "Because I am your father." My knees went weak. My heart stopped. The janitor I bullied, the man I laughed at, the man everyone ignored, was my father. I stood there, frozen. My mouth was open, but no sound came out. My mind was screaming, but my voice was silent. My father. The janitor I bullied was my father. I dropped the box. Photos scattered across the dusty floor. "Why you're lying," I finally whispered. "My father is Ethan Hartfield." Mr. Abeo shook his head slowly. "Ethan Hartfield married your mother when you were 5, he said softly. "He gave you his last name. But he is not the man who gave you life." I stumbled back until I hit the wall. I don't understand." He walked inside and gently picked up one of the fallen photographs. A picture of me as a baby, smiling, drooling, tiny hands clinging to a younger version of him. "I held you first," he said. "I fed you, bathed you, worked 3 jobs so you and your mother could eat." His voice trembled. "But I was poor. And when life became harder, I lost my job. We were kicked out of our apartment. Your mother couldn't take it anymore." He sat on the edge of the small bed, tears filling his eyes. "She left me. She took you with her. And when she met Ethan, she promised me that you would live a better life. I was told to stay away." My heart pounded. "Why didn't you come back? Why didn't you fight for me?" He smiled, sad, tired, broken. "Fight with what, son? I was homeless. Jobless. No money, no power. The court would laugh at a man sleeping under a bridge. So I watched from far." He pointed at the pictures. "I saw every first day of school. Every birthday I could sneak into. I worked here at Riverside High just to be close to you. To make sure you were safe. I remembered every insult. Every drink cup I threw. Every time I mocked him. And he still protected me. Then why didn't you tell me?" I asked, yelling without meaning to. He wiped his eyes. "Because I didn't want to shame you. You lived a good life. You had everything I couldn't give. I thought, if I stayed quiet, you would grow up happy, even if you never knew me." My legs gave out and I sank to the floor. All the arrogance, pride, and ego I carried died in that moment. I had insulted my own father. My throat burned and my chest felt tight. "I'm sorry," I whispered, barely breathing. I'm so sorry. He moved closer, but didn't touch me. I forgave you long before you ever hurt me, he said. You are my son. Nothing will ever change that. For the first time in my life, I cried for real, because everything I thought I knew was a lie. And the man I hated the most was the only person who ever loved me unconditionally. After that day, everything changed. Not instantly, not magically, but slowly, painfully, like a wound learning how to heal. The next morning at school, students watched me with curiosity. I didn't walk like the fearless boy everyone feared. I walked like someone carrying 1,000 bricks on his back. When I saw Mr. Abeo sweeping the hallway, I didn't drop trash on the floor. I picked some up. A few students laughed. Damien is helping the janitor? Is the world ending? I didn't answer. For once, I didn't care what anyone thought. During break, I found him eating alone behind the building, like always. I sat beside him. He looked surprised, like he expected me to change my mind or pretend nothing happened. I want to know you, I said quietly. Not as Mr. Abeo, but as my father. He didn't speak right away. He just smiled, the kind of smile a person waits years to show. From that day, I walked him home after work. I learned that he liked old music, strong tea, and reading used books with missing pages. He had no car, no wealth, no fancy clothes. But he had a heart bigger than anyone I knew. When the school heard the truth, that he defended me even after I treated him badly, the principal called him in. Students who used to ignore him started greeting him. Some teachers offered respect for the first time. And on graduation day, the same stage where I once thought I owned the world, I stood in front of everyone. I gave a speech, not about success or popularity or trophies, but about respect. I hurt someone who loved me unconditionally, I said, and I learned that greatness has nothing to do with power. It has everything to do with kindness. Then I stepped down from the stage and walked straight to where he stood in the back, just as unnoticed as ever. Not this time. I took his hand and led him forward. This, I announced, voice calm but loud enough for all to hear, is my father. Silence filled the hall. And then applause, long, loud, real applause. I saw tears in his eyes. For the first time, not from pain, but from pride. Today, I'm working hard, studying for university, and saving money to get him a real home, not a storage room with a broken fan. He may have been a janitor to the world, but to me, he is the greatest man I have ever known. Life truly had a funny way of turning around. If you want more touching and suspenseful stories like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, A Bite of Tasty Stories.